Episode 19, Cucks for Christ. How y'all doing?
Good.
What's up?
So, we're joined by special guest Kevin Pickett.
What up, Cucks?
He's got the intro down. That's good.
No, yeah, full timer right here.
So, Kevin, I don't know your story. When did you enter the Legion? When did you leave it?
Your vocation story.
Give us your vocation story.
My vocation story. Well, I went to Sacred Heart in Indiana. I joined in the second year of the school. And I joined in 8th grade. But my journey with the Legion began much earlier than that. I think that's the case with a lot of people who end up in an apostolic school. My parents were in Regnum Christi. Our whole family was Catholic, Regnum Christi type Catholics. I went on retreats, things like that. I didn't go to any of the schools that like the Legionaries ran because I was homeschooled. But I mean, the Legionaries seem to be tight with all the homeschoolers. I don't know how they make these connections, but there were a lot of homeschoolers, if I recall, at the apostolic school. I was not the only one, not by a long shot.
Nope, I was homeschooled as well. So
Yeah.
For a little bit. Yep. So I understand that.
So you joined in 8th grade?
Yeah.
You said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could have gone the first year that they were opening up for the first summer program, but I didn't feel like I was ready. Because like my mom like pitched it to me. She was like, "Oh, they're opening up an apostolic school. It's going to be really close. It's just one state over. You can be my priest son and get me clout with my Catholic friends." And I was like, "Well, all right, give me a year to think about it."
Okay, so your mom was actually pushing you.
Oh yeah.
To join.
I'm not the first one in my family to have gone to one of the Legionary schools. So I'm the youngest of 9, which most people, give me wide eyes like Spencer just did when they hear that. But I feel like in an apostolic school, that was like average. But so I have 2 brothers and 6 sisters. And one of my brothers went to ICUS just for 1 year. And
what year was he in?
Do you know? I think he is like 8 years older than I am.
So, okay. So we wouldn't.
It would have been like 2000 and no, it would have. I guess it would have been like 2000, 2001.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that was way before our time.
He was the same generation as Father Aaron Locke. I don't know if any of you guys know him.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
He's a great man.
Yeah. I know that because every time I saw him, and he was at ICUS a lot, I think he was even my assistant for a little bit. That was all he ever said to me. He was like, "Oh my God, I know your brother Craig." I was like, "Yeah, I know you know my brother Craig."
Wow, that's cool. So what's your biggest takeaway from the school? Do you have a positive or a negative? Because I have no idea where you are.
I feel like when I first left the school, I wanted to have nothing but positive things to say about it. But as time has gone on and years have gone by, I've had less and less positive things and more negative things to say about it.
Yeah.
So at this point, I would say the only positive thing that I can say about my time at school was that I made some good memories there. Mm-hmm. But as far as an academic institution or a formative institution, it's garbage.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I feel about it now.
Yeah.
I think we agree. I don't want to speak for Spencer or Jacob, but I feel like I agree.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Same.
At the time when I left, I thought, it was a great school. It was
the best of the best.
It was the best of the best.
That's what everybody told me.
Right? And we believed it.
That's what we were told to believe.
But then, looking back,
it's this is the best education you're ever going to get. This is like the cream of the crop. Like people don't even get to learn stuff like this anymore, kind of a deal. And like, I guess that's true if you're talking strictly about Greek and Latin, but that has done me no good at all. And then meanwhile, like right after I left, I graduated from SHAS, and then but didn't go to novitiate. I didn't even
Smart.
consider going to novitiate my whole senior year. I knew I wasn't going. Oh, excuse me. And so it wasn't like it wasn't a secret that I wasn't going to continue on.
Yeah.
And I went into community college basically as soon as I turned 18, because I was 17 when I graduated. And I got to community college and immediately realized I was woefully unprepared for like college level math. Like English was fine. We did do a lot of reading and writing there. But like as far as science and math and like anything that has to like, you know, keep up with modern times, I was like a decade or two behind, I felt like, in what I had been learning, and I hadn't learned it well, and I hadn't learned as much as I was supposed to have.
Yeah.
So that was a struggle, but you know what, I made it through.
Yeah. That was the thing about the math stuff, was we could learn how to prove why the Pythagorean theorem works, but like the time we spent learning that shit, we could have just memorized an equation and learned a ton more other stuff that could have been like, nobody gives a fuck why the Pythagorean theorem works. Like they just know a squared plus b squared equals c squared, move on, like 3 sentences and you're done. But we would linger on meaningless stuff like that. So
it's fun to study Euclidean geometry with the original like Euclidean text. Totally. But fun doesn't do you much good.
No, none. Yeah.
Glad we can take that into, you know, a reality that
you will not be asked that on the you won't be asked that on the SAT test.
No.
Well, like you said, you went to community college, right? And it was like I did that too, because we had no prospects. We didn't go to we didn't visit colleges in ICAS or SHAS.
Yeah.
So we had nothing when we left. And I went to community college and I was overwhelmed by the math and the science courses, because I'm like, this is nothing like high school. But some of the other courses I did okay. And I picked up the slack, but it didn't prepare me like a high school should. Yeah. So that's okay. That's interesting. I'm glad someone else had that experience too.
Yeah.
Kevin, do you feel after you left SHAS, obviously because you went to community college, socially, did you feel like you were behind on it because of the time that we spent at SHAS? Like the relationships you would have with people and how you would interact with them?
1000%. I feel like I still struggle with that. It's been like, what year is this? 2021. It's been 11 years. Jesus. Yeah, no. So like I think that going to school at Sacred Heart is not like a real school experience, because it's more
definitely
like,
not.
It's not like going to school with people. It's like having a bunch of siblings. It's like, and
we all got mad at each other. We still had to be with each other.
We had like 40 people in the school, and we were only allowed to talk to half of them. So it was, I mean, we were forced to be around everybody. And so when I was in community college and I was no longer forced to be around people, and like, so then relationships, when you're forced to be together and in the same rooms all the time, are just going to happen. There's no avoiding it, because you get to know each other so well. But if you only see somebody in class like 3 times a week, then you don't know how to like initiate a friendship and maintain it when you aren't,
it's an empty book
towards each other all day, every day.
Dude, I've never heard anybody put it into words so perfectly like that. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I struggle with that to this day. Like, just going into a bar and striking conversation, I'll be like, man, why does nobody just like coming up and talking to me? Why am I struggling to make friends? It's like, well, I never learned how to like naturally put myself out there. And when I do put myself out there, I feel weird as shit the way I do it and the way I approach it. I'm like, hey, Like, do you want to like exchange numbers? They're like, what's your name? Shit like that. It's like weird. I hate it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's not an easy thing for anybody, really, but I think that it's a skill, and it's not a skill that we learned.
No.
Yeah.
And I always feel like I'm encroaching on people. Do you ever feel that way? Like you're, I'm being too much, or
like, oh, yeah, like I'm being so awkward right now. I really
Yes.
just like not even try.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's fun.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
But, you
It's
know,
fun.
yeah, I would say I don't know what a typical like friendship pattern looks like for somebody who didn't go to Sacred Heart, but for me, I feel like I still to this day I don't maintain a large friend circle. Like I know lots of people, I see lots of people, but like people who I'm like, you know, like really friends with that I
You would text
in close with, I probably keep a circle of like less than 5 at a time.
Mhm.
Yeah. Same here.
understand
Yeah.
that.
Same. Oh man, this is so weird. It's like seeing a mirror.
Yeah. Black Mirror.
That's just like a level that I feel like I'm capable of maintaining that pretty successfully.
And what do you do now? What are you up to these days?
So I'm in customer service. I work for a printing company here in town. We're a large scale printing press. We print stuff for businesses throughout the Midwest, basically.
Yeah.
Mostly boring stuff like insurance papers and business cards and like informational pamphlets for machinery and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's a fine job. I like it. And then I
Pays the
also,
bills.
what's that?
So it pays the bills.
It does, exactly. And then I bartend.
Nice.
Okay. That's cool.
Hmm.
We can edit this out too. Do you still do drag? Are you still Sleazy Louise?
Very rarely, mostly just on Halloween these days. Since I got
Also-
a job, I haven't really had time, and
Oh, okay.
we got a house, and it just like drag is very
lot.
expensive and time consuming to do, and I just haven't had the time or the money. I have like more important things to do right now, but maybe someday she'll come back.
I remember it was like when I first started following you back on Instagram, I saw that and I was like, hell yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, that's Kevin. Like
Back
just-
when I was in college and I had the time, it was fun.
We're all very supportive of that idea. You know, it's like you got to follow your heart.
Oh yeah, very supportive.
Also, apparently you killed it, so that's good.
Yeah, well, she looked good.
You've always had that, I say showmanship, but just that personality of always being able to go out.
Attention
you can
seeking
talk to
behavior.
Okay. That's funny.
What's the expensive part of drag? I'm curious. Like, I don't really know much about it.
Makeup is really expensive.
Yeah.
That's one of the most expensive parts. And then just clothes. You have, I mean, like pantyhose are expensive.
I can
But
imagine.
anything. Even just fabric if you want to make your own costumes. It all costs money.
Shoes in your size. Very
Yeah,
specialty.
shoes in your size, you better watch out.
And it's not like you can wear the same outfit like multiple times, right? Like
No,
you got to keep
not
changing
really.
it up.
You're kind of expected like to show off new things pretty
Right.
frequently.
Okay. Yeah, that
Oh,
sounds
man.
expensive. Yeah.
Also sounds really cool.
It is. It's
I don't
fun.
know.
Like there's no denying how much fun it is. That's why people do it.
Dang. I've been wanting to cross dress for Halloween. Like I just want to do it one of these
That's the
days. It
best
sounds like
way to
fun.
do it.
Yeah, yeah. Like strut some heels and just, you know.
That's
You would look
like,
good, Spencer.
Nobody's gonna punch you
Appreciate
if you're wearing women's clothing on Halloween. People like on
Yes.
Halloween, if you're in a dress, people want to take pictures with you and point and laugh. Like you're not in any danger on Halloween. Straight
Right.
guys put on dresses on Halloween.
Right.
Mm.
Yes, it helps. Hmm.
So, if I can ask,
Oh,
this
Speaking of
might be
straight guys,
Yeah.
congrats on the babies, Jacob.
Thank you. That was great, guys. Thank you. They're
Sorry,
Their
Jacob, I
joy.
cut you off there.
their
Oh, it's
joy
good.
and their joy, and it's speaking of cutting off, it's not the only thing cut off. So
Oh yeah. How you feeling, by the way? Speaking of vasectomies.
We're a little sore today, but
Ooh.
Sitting on some
we're
ice.
making it. Ice and whiskey, baby.
Uh-huh.
Nice to you.
Fuck painkiller.
Apparently, retying them hurts more than tying them or cutting them. That's what
could
I
believe
hear.
that.
That's what I
I could
hear.
believe
Cutting, you just gotta cut. If you're gonna retie him, you gotta do all this yanking and pulling.
Yanking
Yeah.
and sewing and cauterizing. Yeah, no, I'm good on that.
Yeah, I don't want to even
Holy
think
shit.
about it.
I made a one-time decision.
Well, you have two. That's good enough.
Yeah,
God's gonna let you into heaven.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, what? I'm curious. What was the biggest? This might be too general of a question. What was the biggest transformation you had mentally leaving Legion?
Biggest transformation I had mentally. Well, coming out after apostolic school was kind of a big deal for me because I was in such like deep denial and repression about my sexuality that like it took me a few years still to come out. Like at the apostolic school, I honestly didn't know that I was gay. I like couldn't for some reason put two and two together. Like I obviously had crushes on lots of people, but I didn't understand that's what that was, because to my understanding, being gay was a choice and like something that bad people did. And I was like, well, maybe I'm a bad person, but I didn't like make a conscious decision to like, to be gay. So it's like, obviously that's not it. The logic just doesn't add up. So then I was like, maybe I'm just a late bloomer. I'm just trying to like, maybe I'm asexual. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. And like, I was in such deep denial that I was pretty shortly after the apostolic school, like the first thing I did was like fire up the internet and look at porn when I got back from the apostolic school. But I was looking at gay porn, and even then I was like, oh, this isn't because I'm gay. I don't know what kind of mental gymnastics I was doing in my head to like make it take so long for me to like realize or like just accept for myself that I was gay. But it took a good while. So that was a whole journey. But I mean, that's kind of an obvious one. I don't know if you were looking for something else.
That was a perfect answer. I wasn't sure what you were going to say.
Did you ever open up about that in like spiritual direction? No, okay.
I never opened up in spiritual direction about anything to anyone. I was not a good apostolic. They asked me to leave my sophomore year.
Asked you to leave.
But I straight up refused. I told them that, so let me backtrack a little bit. Like the whole reason I was a bad apostolic the whole time, and the whole reason I never opened up to anybody was because I never really wanted to be a priest in the first place. I was just kind of like bullied into it by my mom. And once I was there, I was like, I think I actually like it here better than I like it at home with my crazy mom. So I was like, I'll just stay here and wait it out for a few years.
Graduate.
That's what I was doing
there.
basically. So I had Father Eduardo for my first rector, who like did not like me, first of all. So I was not really interested in opening up to him about anything, because he was just always kind of a jerk to me. And then we got Father Darren after him, and he was cool, at least, I guess, compared to Father Eduardo.
You could talk to him.
The bar was low.
Yeah. But by that time, it was too late. I was a bad kid.
Bad by LC standards, or like bad in any
bad by
other
LC
way?
standards.
Yeah,
Nobody
okay.
at Sacred Heart was bad by anybody.
You broke
else's
silence,
standards.
oh no.
Oh yeah, I would break sections. I would break silence.
Yeah.
I would get in fights with my assistant.
Yeah.
That's like it. But so yeah, no, I didn't ever talk to him about anybody about my sexuality because I was embarrassed, first of all. And I didn't like know much about sex because I wasn't really properly educated about it in the first place. And I felt like it wasn't important because I was like, well, if we're all going to be like living that celibate life here and that's what they're all about, then I guess I just could avoid this conversation entirely and never worry about it. So that was just kind of what I figured I'd do. One time I remember I was having doubts about my sexuality while I was at the school. And to like make myself feel better, I thought I would, because, okay, I think I was in 9th grade. So all my classmates were like, horny 14-year-old boys.
Yeah.
And anytime like there would be like a rare sighting of a girl, either at the school or like when we were on an outing, they would be like, just like so crazy about it. They're like, oh my God, did you see that girl? Did you see that girl? Oh my God. And I was always like, why am I not having this reaction?
Right.
So I went to Father Darren, and I was like trying to like on the sly get information to try to understand what this attraction to women was all about. And so I told him that I was struggling because I was starting to feel all these attractions towards women. And I was like, that was like supposed to be my way to like get him to talk about it so I could get some info about it. But it didn't work. He was like, well, that's a normal thing. Don't worry about it. And I was like, well, that didn't work. It was a stupid plan in the first place. I don't know why I thought it would work, but
Because we didn't know otherwise.
Yeah, but for a teenager at a SHAS, that's the best plan you could make.
Yeah.
You're struggling to figure out what's going on.
It just goes to show like how little prepared these superiors were to manage our age group. Like anybody else that is like, if I was a superior now and like a 14-year-old boy came up to me and started asking me that would be an opportunity for me to probe for questions, like maybe dig a little deeper, see what's going on with this kid, like what's he feeling, just kind of. But no, you just got, hey, don't worry about it, like kind of dismissive.
It's natural.
Like, yeah, it was very dismissive of what you were asking, and it's kind of unfortunate that that's the case.
There's a big difference between a spiritual counselor and an actual counselor.
Yeah,
and we didn't have any actual counselors on the premises.
No. Yeah.
Like Mr. Hobbs was the closest thing we had to anything.
Like, I don't need you to like recommend a litany to me to help me out.
Yeah. And dude, that's like the thing I said the first, like I had one therapy session when I first got out of seminary, and like I was like, wow, this did more for me than like my 21 years of confessions. Like this one therapy session, like, and it's just like, man, why can't Catholicism evolve to like be more, just a little more cool with normal shit like that? I don't know, whatever. But it's interesting.
Dang. So, what was your favorite part about SHAS?
I liked having all of my friends around all the time. I thought it was pretty sweet. I mean, I hated getting up at 6 a.m. every day and doing all this stupid shit. And I hated being forced to play sports that I fucking sucked at, that nobody wanted me on their team for anyway. But I wasn't the only one who was miserable. And there were also, there were people who were having a great time too. And at least I wasn't alone, I guess. Being at the Apostolic School, even though I had so many siblings growing up, I felt like I was a very isolated child because I had only sisters who were my age and they didn't really want much to do with me. And I didn't really have friends because my contact with other friends was highly curated. Because they had to be good Catholic homeschooling friends, and that basically leaves nobody.
Yeah.
So I was for some of my life, I had all these people around me, and I was having a great time. It was with my friends, and that was my favorite thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel I'll touch note on this though. Kevin could kill it in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
He was in the kitchen.
You were one of the cooks. And then
we both took up some stuff in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, I was on weekend kitchen duty for sure. That was one of my favorite things too, honestly. That was one of the very few things that I got to do that I actually wanted to do.
Did you like it the most because you felt the most free there?
Yeah, you had
free reign to do whatever you wanted.
I don't know what it was like at ICAS, but basically, if you weren't with the community, if you were off doing something like a side duty like sacristy, or you were off doing something like kitchen duty or cleaning up, you're just alone. And so when I was cooking in the kitchen on the weekends, the menu was entirely up to me. Whatever I could find in the fridge to make, basically that was it.
Quesadillas.
And I thought it was awesome. that was like my most, I had the more freedom there than I had anywhere else.
Okay. So I don't know if you heard, I don't know if I talked about this on the pod at all, but I was in charge of the kitchen my senior year.
I did hear.
Yeah. And so the chef broke his shoulder the first day I was in charge of the kitchen. And so I had to make 3 meals a day and the menus and order the food. And it was so bad. It was awful. The food was so bad. And people would complain about it. And I'm like, look, I can't do any better. I'm 16. Like, what do you want from me? I'll make good.
I wasn't trained
That's
for
a big
this.
responsibility. All 3 meals.
I mean,
why wasn't they didn't have like a brother who could do it or something?
well, after about like 3 weeks, they brought one of the day laborers on to make breakfast.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Just to do one of the meals.
Yeah, it was really bad.
So you could do toast the
21
bread and make
days,
some
so
oatmeal.
Maybe it'll be better tomorrow.
Well, he would make like oatmeal and pancakes and stuff. Like he would make a real meal.
Nice.
But he didn't also have to go to mass. Like I would have to go to
Right.
mass and then come out and make French toast for 400 people.
That was one of my favorite parts about doing the kitchen.
Story
Was
kills.
because at SHAS, they would let us go to mass by ourselves. Like we'd do a fast mass with another priest in the side chapel.
Oh,
And then we
okay.
could go. So I'd be like, oh yeah, Sunday mass, 20 minutes. Here we go. I loved it.
That's cool.
Andrew.
You'd get
That's
out of
cool.
chores because you went
Uh-huh.
to fast mass.
Yeah, that is really cool. We had I was actually a sacristan too at one point, and I would set up the stuff for the private masses, but we never got to go to them. So it kind of sucked. Like that would have been a good thing, like private
Yeah,
mass
you're
for the
missing out
kitchen
on the
crew.
perk.
Get like 3 people in, they can make breakfast, everything's good. But instead, we're just gonna let you go after communion. I had a 10-minute head start.
That story
Oh,
always
man.
kills me, man. It's crazy.
I hated that school so much.
Holy
Oh
shit.
man. Well, I'm glad we have so many similar shared experiences because I didn't know your name. Jacob kept talking about how cool you were. I'm like, okay, well, we got to get him on the pod. And you know,
Like, we
now
gotta
hearing
get him on here.
hearing the stories, it's like, oh man, this kid's he's great.
Yeah, I mean, we really did all go through the same stuff. They had their formula down pretty well.
Apparently.
For us to all go through
I'm-
the same thing at different years.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure a
Different
lot of our
locations.
textbooks weren't our textbooks Xeroxes from ICAS
I think so.
for a lot of classes.
I think so.
It's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
They were.
Because it was the same territory. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Father Victor was the dean of study, or the
No,
dean.
we
for you.
weren't the same territory.
We weren't.
Oh, you were at Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh. Kind of weird
Yeah.
how they divvied up the territories.
No, they cut
Yeah, that's weird.
they cut it at a diagonal. Like
It was the
What?
weirdest.
it was
Why?
very strange because population, I think.
Dude, that's stupid. It's fucking stupid.
What did they do that was smart? Like you tell me. I don't know. So you weren't
Got
you
us
weren't
all there.
Yeah. I guess
Now,
I shouldn't.
I gotta know, like religion wise, where do you fall nowadays? Like, do you consider yourself a believer or where are you at? No?
I'm an atheist. Pretty
Nice.
simply these days.
Nice.
I started out, still going to church when I left Sacred Heart, still being like, oh yeah, I'm a
Mhm.
Catholic.
This is all real. Yep.
It quickly fell to only going on Sundays, and then it quickly fell to only going on some Sundays, and then I was gay, and then I was like, fuck religion entirely.
Total 180.
I was agnostic for a while, and then now here we are. I don't know how much less religious I can get. I think I finally hit the bottom, but yeah, I've been considering myself an atheist these days. Although I do find I have a hard time shedding some of my superstitions from religion and like traditions that I still like.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
I think that what I liked most about being Catholic was like the ritual of it. I like the theatricality of it. I think that's what I most enjoyed. I don't know if I was ever like a very good Catholic faith wise. I don't know if I was ever a great believer, but I did like some of the things that we did. I don't know exactly what, but like,
Yeah.
I do find that I still enjoy and miss like certain things.
Mhm.
You missed the Gregorian chant, don't you?
And
Go with it. Go with it.
maybe some of them.
Yeah.
That small choir you had back there.
Top three Gregorian chants. I loved the Sanctus that we would do on feast days during Mass.
Yes.
Loved one of the ones we would sing. It wasn't the usual one we would sing to Mary at night. It was like one of the seasonal ones.
Was it,
Regina Celli.
Regina Celli was good,
Yeah.
but this was a different one.
Shit.
Oh shoot.
That's gonna bother me.
I can't
Call it if
Was
you
it the
remember.
was it the Advent one?
Maybe
Salve Regina.
that was the usual one.
That was the
Yeah.
usual.
I hated
Yeah.
that one.
It was rough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
long too. So long.
And it was just very boring because you
Regina
knew it was
Celli
ordinary time. Regina Celli.
slaps.
What was the other one?
Regina
Regina Celli was good.
It's gonna come to me at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, you're gonna wake up and start singing it.
I do miss like harmonizing with song and
We
choirs and
sounded
stuff. We sounded
so
pretty
good.
good. Yeah, we
You
sounded
got
great.
good at ICAS. You got
Yeah.
a good choir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Novitiate was even better. We really it was like
But
very
yeah, you all
very
hit puberty
intense.
by then.
Yeah, there were actually there was actually a bass section.
Oh,
of
yeah, I bet.
Novitiate.
But it was a little bit too intense. Father Andres was like, he would cut people off and like go down. Like he would, while he was conducting, he would leave the stand and go down and tell someone to stop singing because
Yeah.
they were.
Yeah, he was a dick. He would single you out if you sucked.
Damn. I
Yeah,
thought they said singing was praying twice. What? They're not allowed to pray?
Yeah.
apparently not.
Not good
Not,
enough.
not if you're tone deaf.
You're gonna make the cut for Jesus.
Oh man.
Oh god.
So shoot. Are there any hobbies you picked up that you feel are directly influenced from ICAS or SHAS?
Let me think.
Sorry, that's a bad question, but
I don't think so, to be
Okay.
honest. No, I do still have a big love of hiking
okay.
from that. And I'm trying to think. I mean, I kind of I didn't learn how to cook at SHAS, but I started cooking like for real at SHAS, and I still do that daily. But I mean, nothing else. I'm not like part of an a cappella group.
You don't play indoor soccer.
No,
Oh,
local
okay.
veto groups. I was very happy to not be forced to play sports anymore once I was done with apostolic school.
Are you close to any of your siblings now?
Yeah.
Cool.
A lot of them are a lot older than me, so some of us don't really know each other that well, to be honest. But my sisters who are closest to me in age, there's the three of us were like considered the little kids of the family, and we're all pretty close, I would say.
What's the age gap between the oldest and youngest?
Let's see. I'm 28, and Nikki, she passed away a few years back, but if she were alive, I think she would be 49.
Wow.
Okay, that's
Is
like
that right?
20
No,
year,
I think she would be older than that. She would be 51.
23-year gap. Do I have that right?
25-year gap, I think.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Wait, no, I'm bad at math.
Me too. I suck at it.
You're right. I went the wrong way.
You know, this is things we didn't learn at SHAS.
Yeah,
Math.
we're proving
Thanks,
it right.
Sacred Heart.
Dude, I'm in sales and I have to use like percentages and all this shit and analyze numbers, and I fucking suck at it. My boss is like, I would never know this was a struggle for you, because I was honest with him. I was like, this is tough for me. He's like, well, you don't show it. I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm still good at putting on a brave or a fake face and being what my superiors want of me.
You should say to him, yes, brother, anything to fulfill God's will manifest.
Yeah. I start calling him father.
Be like,
ask
no
him
need
for permission.
Just call me daddy. Yeah.
I still have this kind of weird thing with authority. I don't know if you do, Kevin, but like I'll be like, I came in asking supervisors for permissions for shit, and they were like, what are you doing? Like, you don't have to do that.
I've tried to shake that habit.
Yeah.
I've learned over the years that I can have a little bit of independence in the workplace.
Yes.
I don't know. I think I still have a weird thing about authority, but who doesn't?
Yeah. You don't want to get fired.
Right.
Yeah.
Man. So you like the hikes. Did you like, let's see, were there any classes you liked?
Yeah, I liked most of the classes, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was more of a book kid than a ball kid. Not anymore.
Definitely a man of the balls now.
Definitely man of two balls.
I liked classes because I was good at them. I did well without trying very hard, which I was kind of grateful for. And so I was like, I guess I can enjoy this, because I know a lot of kids still kind of, had a harder time with academics. So it's like, at least this is something I'm good at, for the most part.
I feel like we have pretty good teachers.
We did have good teachers.
Like, that were not just good at teaching, but just talking to, like Hobbs and Murphy. Like, you could just talk to them.
Yeah.
As a normal person.
They were like the closest we got to normal at Sacred Heart was our contact with our teachers. But like, what a weird place to work that must have been.
For sure.
That's not like any other teaching gig. I don't know how and I know they didn't get paid well. So I wonder, like, how do you convince somebody to take this job? It just seemed like it must take a certain kind of person. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's one thing to like recruit teenagers to join your school.
Yeah.
But it's totally another to convince an adult for like 20 grand a year.
An adult with a career.
Yeah.
I think
with a master's degree.
Most of our teachers were in Regnum Christi, so I guess they had a little bit of an in with them there.
Yeah.
But not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd be curious to bring a teacher on the pod one day. That'd be fun.
Oh, I should reach out to a few of them.
That'd be cool.
Our teachers weren't in Regnum Christi. I don't think any of them were. They were familiar with Legion as far as we existed, but I think what the draw was that we didn't have discipline problems, as as students.
Well,
I mean, maybe you guys did, but we didn't really. No.
I mean, were we bad? I feel like we were kind of bad.
I feel like we were a little rebellious.
We were a wild crew, I would say.
But it goes back to, I think you might have heard it with Evan when he was on, right? Our class scheduling wasn't strict.
No.
Okay.
Not if they had some slave labor for us to do.
Go clean out the second woods.
Go
clean out second gym.
20 cast iron desks from the third floor of one building in the tallest tower of the farthest wing and lug them to the other building across campus and then never use them.
I can't tell you how many times we moved those mattresses.
Oh God.
So
many times. Every time we had a
James,
summer program, for some reason we had to have it in a new place. And we had to move every bed and every mattress, and they were fucking heavy.
So Spencer and James, to fill you in on this mattress thing, SHAS was gifted bougie ass Tempur-Pedic mattresses.
Oh, what?
They
Every
were
Fuck
so
y'all,
nice.
by the
Everyone
first of all.
had
Yeah, first of all,
Tempur-Pedic
fuck you guys.
when they first came out.
It was so heavy.
Oh, it literally
It was.
took 3 people to lift.
It's like a waterbed.
Yeah,
Because there's no
heavy.
rigidity to them, so every time you pick it up, it just bends.
Mhm.
So you'd have to have 3 people, and you're going up 3 flights of stairs,
Okay.
Oh, fuck
Yeah, I
that.
guess. Yeah, never
Like-
mind.
or I guess 4. Because we'd have to take them from the old auditorium, the basement,
Yeah.
to the 3rd floor,
Or
to the
up and down that
gym.
big ass hill to the second gym.
Yeah,
My gosh.
with that
Wow.
staircase and brick pavers that we
Wow.
had to lay.
Wow.
That fucking sucks. Okay.
Yeah,
But
that really does
did
suck.
y'all have Tempur-Pedics as well?
I did.
Nice.
Not the whole time, but my
Most-
when I became a pre-candidate, I was able to get my hands on one. And I held on to it for the rest of my time
I
there.
was like, because we only had, I'm trying to think. So I was the first year, and there were 14 of us, and I think that was it. So all the brothers and fathers had it, and then the 14 of us had Tempur-Pedics, and then we got donated the cheap plastic, just shitty ass
Awful.
mattresses. They're horrible.
Just springs with a tarp like shrunk over them.
Yeah, that's all it was. I mean, you could carry 3 of them at once. They didn't weigh anything.
And they were so loud. And we had a dormitory that some people had Tempur-Pedics. Like at one point, I think they let like all the pre-candidates have them, and then apostolics were on the other ones, something like
Yep.
that. And
Yep.
anytime an apostolic rolled over, it was just like ring out through the whole auditorium. No, the auditorium, the dormitory.
It's an auditorium. Yeah.
Well, so
Basically, it's an auditorium.
yeah, we did use that room as both at different points in time.
Yep.
Oh man.
I mean, it was,
yeah.
I joined in the second year, so things were still kind of getting established. A lot of things were still getting moved around. We hadn't done any construction yet. So we spent every year at SHAS, we were moving basically. Because we were starting to like demo and reconstruct different areas. And so it was like chasing us around the school for those first few years.
Yeah, it would have been like my last year, which would have been your junior year, when we finally got was it 2nd floor was the lockers, bathroom, and 3rd floor dorm, or was it the other way around?
It was, I think it was the
showers on 2nd, dorm on 3rd.
No, other way around. Showers
Was
were
it the other
up
way?
and dorm was down. Yeah.
When we finally had that, and then that other wing was still just, you don't go there. No one
it was
goes
just
in
full of
that
junk. It
wing.
was just full of shit.
Just storage of
Man.
random, no tile,
Hall
no
of
flooring.
Oh, also, okay, Jacob, the Hall of Doom, haunted or no?
Which one?
The Hall of Doom, was it haunted or not?
Yes,
Oh,
100%.
for sure, right?
Yes.
That's
So, I mean, you've probably heard me talk about it on the podcast about the Spartan room.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
what you're calling the Hall of Doom?
No, Spartan Room was down in the basement.
Yeah.
So the Hall of Doom was the whole wing that was the
Oh.
dining room and kitchen.
Oh, 100%.
And then above that, that was what hadn't been renovated yet. So like all this shit had been put back there and it was like sealed off.
And the bell tower.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, haunted, 100%.
Haunted.
Oh man.
Boiler room, haunted.
Yep.
I mean, they had enough priests there. They could have done an exorcism. That'd have been nice.
Yeah, but they-
anything there.
Yeah, it wouldn't have done anything. The priest would have just like told the spirits to do a Hail Mary.
Yeah. It was a spooky basement. That basement looked like it was from Saw.
Yeah, brick walls and a concrete floor. All
But
the way
like-
through. And there was always sawdust.
Always.
We never
It'd be
cut
cool
wood.
if y'all. It'd be cool if y'all like pranked the priests and like pretended you were possessed. That could have been fun.
That would've been fun
Like
as
I think
hell.
about these things now, and I'm like, man, that would have been a fun idea to do when I was there.
We never would have pulled it off, but it would have been a
No.
good idea.
They
Yeah.
probably think I'm possessed now. I'm gay
Yeah,
and I have
all of
tattoos.
us.
I have longish hair.
Yeah, you're swinging for the fences here.
Yeah. It's like you're trying to go to hell now.
Knocking on that door.
I mean, if somebody could just take over my body and live out the rest of my life for me, I would take them up on it. But
Yeah.
enjoy,
Have fun.
please. I guess.
Yeah. My body
let
is
me know
your
what
temple.
happens.
Oh man. Well, did you have any particular what's your fondest memory? Do you have one of SHAS?
My fondest memory?
Like a moment where you felt like you were at home or
Yeah. I have two, I think. One was when I got one of my teachers, it was Mr. Dunlap, gave me he gave me a 100% on an essay I had written. And like, but that wasn't the end of it. He like made a point to like pull Father Timothy, who was the academic director at the time, set up a meeting with him and told him all about this essay and was like, Kevin is like, you're sleeping on Kevin. He's a good writer. You should be like, fostering this. So then Father Timothy called me aside and I was like, oh no, I'm in trouble. But it wasn't. He was like, hey, Mr. Dunlap just told me like, you're doing great. You're killing it in English class. And I know you don't like know what you're going to do after school is over, but you could, if you worked at this, you could have like a promising career in literature and English. And I was like, that's one of the only encouraging things anybody's ever said to me up until that point. So I was like, that was nice, I guess. It was nice that somebody said a nice thing to me. So that's a good memory.
Yeah.
But Father Tim was my favorite anyway. And then the other thing also involving Father Timothy, now that I think about it, I was always trying to get into like the small choir and always trying to get into like being the person who sings on Sundays and whatnot. So like being the person who is the incanter. And they'd never let me do it because Brother Brian hated me and he was in charge of all the music. We hated each other. So it was
Dude, y'all were always bickering at each other.
Yeah,
like I remember you and Amancho would always just come to our y'all were basically in our section all the time because y'all didn't get along with Brian.
They really did. They were like, we have to separate you from Brother Brian.
Like y'all can go hang out with the pre-candidates. Go to sports with pre-candidates.
One time,
you're not.
One time somebody was like sick or something, so I got to step in and do like the thing during mass, like the call and response part. I don't remember what it's called, the psalm. Mm-hmm. I was singing the psalm, and for some reason, I don't know, my voice was just sounding so good that day. I just like really felt like I was rubbing it in Brother Brian's stupid face. Like everybody was like taking note of how good I sounded. It was like otherworldly. And then on my way out, I was cooking breakfast that day, so I got to like leave right after. And Father Timothy was hearing confessions in the back, and he like stopped me and he was like, Kevin, come over here. Was that you just now? And I was like, yeah, that was me just now. And he was like, that sounded so good. And then I went and cooked breakfast. So yeah, those were like my two highlights of my academic / singing careers at Sacred Heart.
Do you still sing or write these days? Are you still into that?
Not really. I mean, not singing. I mean,
sure.
Or writing, but I do karaoke.
Hey, me too.
I have a good time.
Yeah, if I'm ever up in Chicago, I'll hit you up and be like, hey, let's go find some karaoke somewhere. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Neither of those things ended up being something I wanted to pursue, but in the moment, it felt nice.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, because I wasn't like one of the sporty boys, and like, you know what I mean. Like I felt like the boys who were really like good at sports were the ones who tended to like get extra duties and like were held in a higher regard among superiors, and then like the little nerdy squirrely kids were like not paid as much attention to. I don't know if that was the case at ICUS or not, but that's the way it felt, at least when I was there.
I feel like kind of SHAS because we always got. I mean, I feel like I was more the sporty type, or I was always working on something.
Yeah, you were. you could like
always had
things, so they always had you working.
God, it was like, hey Jake, you want to go lay some brick for our new patio? Sure.
And now you lay brick for patio today.
Yeah, I know. And I still do that to this damn.
Yeah, but you get paid for it.
You get
paid for it now.
Good money. Good money.
No more slave labor for you.
Yeah.
I got guys that play that shit for me. Man. Feel like a Padre now.
Okay, so here's a curiosity question. How often did you go to confession at SHAS?
I went every week.
Oh, really?
I
We
feel
all
like they
did.
kept track of us. Like if I would go 2 or 3 weeks without going to confession, somebody would say something.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there were so few of us. Everybody knew what everybody was doing. Like if you didn't go to confession, everybody knew. And so I just had my night that I would go. I think it was Thursdays, and I would just go every week. And I would just like list off the same 5 things every time.
Yeah, laminated SIM
Get my
card.
little like 3 Hail Marys or whatever, and then go back.
Do
And
it
one time the
again.
priest was like, listen, I know it's Kevin on the other side of the screen. And I just like, I don't feel like you're doing confession right. Like it's not for you to just come and list off your list every week. You're supposed to like discuss things and give like a real honest confession about what you feel bad about lately. And I was just like, okay.
I don't feel bad about shit.
It's like I'm just getting you off my back, Padre. Like,
Yeah. I
give me
want
my
to suck your
hand.
dick, Padre.
Oh, it's so fun.
Man.
Confession.
Kevin, who from your class, is there anyone from your class still in that you know of?
None of
No.
us even went to novitiate, I don't think.
Oh, nice.
There was only 3 of us. I
You
was
and
in class-
Mancho and
Well, it was Amancio and Anthony and Kyle Rehart, but
that was I couldn't
everybody
picture
left,
Kyle.
and then it was me and Kyle, and then Paul Gents. I don't know if you knew Paul Gents.
I knew
Maybe
Paul.
you did. Yeah, so it was me, him, and Kyle, and we were the only 3 in our class.
Okay.
And none of us went on. Maybe
was
Kyle
Sh-
went on for a little bit, but if he did, it was only for like a few months.
So Shane
Shane was a year below me.
okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking he was in your
The 7th
class,
grade
but-
class below me, they were huge. There was 3 of us and 14 of them.
Yeah. It was like my graduating class was 12.
Yeah. We
So-
were like the oddball forgotten class.
Y'all are just like, oh, there's people in this class.
Could you
Okay.
talk to other classes then if you're only 3 of you?
They were kind of weird with us. They were like, you don't really belong anywhere. You're like, when we became pre-candidates, they were like, you really should be in your own section. But so they were like, do we put you with like the older section of the apostolics, or do we put you in with the seniors? Because they were always their own section, the 12
Right.
of them, because they were like the first years, and they were like all, they'd been together the whole time, and they were older and had a slightly different experience since they were all first years, and so they were always kind of on their own, and they didn't ever know if we belonged with them or with the apostolics. So they would bounce us back. It seemed like every year it was something different.
I feel like even at different times throughout the year, you'd be bounced back.
Yeah.
Because I remember sometimes, even my senior year, y'all would be with us for hikes or sports or
Yeah.
table wise. And then like a month later, you'd be with the apostolics.
Yeah.
So
And we
kind
would
of
go to
joke.
talk to you, and they're like, oh no, they're with apostolics. You can't talk to them. We're like,
Well, none of us. Well, Kyle never broke sections because Kyle was the only good one in our class.
100%. 100%.
But
I feel like a macho
I
because
broke
he started
sections.
with us.
I
Like,
broke sections all day, every day.
well, yeah,
give
because
a
you're also
fuck.
good friends with Stu.
Yeah, Stu and I have been friends. We grew up together. We're from
Yeah.
the same town.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we've known each other for a long time. He's actually going to come visit me in a couple weeks here. So
Oh,
it'll be good
cool.
to see
Oh,
him.
no
weird.
way.
I didn't get that invite, but that's cool.
He kind of invited himself, but
Oh, man. Two boys we had in the pod.
Nope.
Yeah, back to back.
Look at
yeah,
that.
we all know each other. Surprise, surprise. Small
Do you-
cult.
Do you keep in contact with your friends from SHAS?
Not really.
Okay.
I didn't really want to be
Yeah.
honest.
That's fair.
I
But your experience with who you hung out with was also different than us. I mean,
Yeah.
being the 3 of you or 4, right? Depending on time.
yeah, I guess that's not true. I'm still in contact with Paul Gents. Because we were always bad together and we were buddies.
that kid
but-
can draw.
Yeah, he's an amazing artist. He's working as an artist now. That's like what he does.
Wow.
Like amazing.
And
Holy shit.
yeah.
I'll follow his Instagram or something. That's cool.
so I'm in contact with Paul. I'm in contact with Stu off and on every now and then. but that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was more interested in like figuring out who I am in the like as a person in the real world and like getting myself established than I was with holding on to all of that shit.
Yeah.
And that includes human beings as well, unfortunately. But like I was like, I need to leave this behind.
Mhm.
That's how I felt.
They're not going
Yeah.
to help you grow or anything. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
holding on to something in the past, which I 100% understand that. I mean, I didn't talk to a lot of y'all, honestly, from anyone in my class either for a few years.
Yeah, we did do a couple reunions for the first year. I think you were at one or two of them.
I went to the first one after I graduated.
Yeah, I went to the first
That was
one and
it.
the second one, and then I stopped going because I was like, I don't think I care about this that much.
I would do a reunion to go back with everyone
I would do a reunion
somewhere else.
somewhere. It might be fun to see the school, but
We
like
should-
not to stay there.
We should go to Icus.
What?
Hey, do they Airbnb it?
No, well, we should pool our money. So it's 6.4 million. I think they're selling it for.
Oh, chump change.
Okay.
Got this. And put on
Because
the
I know they're
company card.
turning. Ica is getting turned into. I think it's like a brewery or a vineyard. It's one of
It's a
those.
vineyard.
Really?
It's a vineyard.
I hope they just play their
And
music from their soundtrack.
So, Kevin, I'm so happy you brought that up. So I was talking to Trish, my sister,
Yeah.
who was with, I don't know which sister of yours she was with.
April.
Was it April?
Mhm. We busted her out of the concert out of the.
So
I don't know,
Trish,
like 3 or 4 years ago.
really?
Oh my god.
Trish left like 2 months before me. And then I came home, and then I had a sister, Rebecca, that was there. Well, she was in Monterrey, Mexico at the school there, and she finally got out. But I was talking with my sister, and we were talking about Ica up there, and I guess they are planning a reunion, but as a prom, because
That's
they
so
didn't have one in
fun.
high school back up there as a vineyard. And they've already been talking with the owners and everything about it.
That's so weird, but I love it.
So, like, we
Should
didn't
I-
have one.
Do they
So-
need?
That's
Do they
true.
need
I
any
never
guys
went
to
to
show
advance.
up?
Oh,
What's
we'll
that?
Yeah,
definitely
do
all
they
show up.
Yeah.
Imagine the Icus boys show up. We're like, yay, it's our prom too.
Oh, you're allowed to talk
We're
to each
going
other
all
now.
stag.
Yeah, we're allowed to talk to each other now. Yeah.
We brought condoms. They're like, what?
Oh, well, wasn't it? Oh, okay.
What?
Oh no. I feel like there's got to be a lot of lesbians in that mix, don't you think?
Yeah.
Too.
Well, it's the
I
same
would
as us.
feel like there would be.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like probably like 40 to 30%. You know, like too high for the general population.
I think the Legion, yeah, at least half of those guys are gay.
Yeah,
least.
still. Yeah, the
Yeah.
ones who are still in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just like the priests and brothers who we had as superiors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because they would like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but our school was steeped in tradition. And a lot of the tradition was very strange. I don't know if you know Father Kevin Meehan.
I know the name.
Sounds familiar. He used to be at Icus, and he would like choose pre-candidates that would sleep near his room. That's
What an honor.
what an honor. Yeah.
It's like Epstein.
Yeah.
His little island up there.
We had, once we got our actual dorm built, we did have a room for a brother and a room for a priest. That was like a cubicled off, like with walls room in our dorm. And I always thought it was super weird.
Yeah.
And I always thought it must suck to be either the priest or the brother, because you got like all these like apostolics who are probably like up all night trying to listen to see if they can hear anything coming from your room because they're so curious. And like that would suck. Like, what if you need to jerk off? Like,
Yeah.
So
Quietly.
that's so funny you bring that up, because I was next to, I had Brother Brian's room because he slept right near the staircase.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was that bed that was right next to him, but he'd always freaking stand at that entrance
Yes.
and
He would
just
stand and
like in
stare.
the back corner where there's no light, so you could not see him.
Yeah, we had some sentinels like that.
That
too.
was Father
Some
James.
Sentinels.
Yeah, it's fucking
That's
creepy,
okay.
dude.
That was probably James.
Talk about
exactly.
haunted.
One of the people I feel like is gay. You know, I obviously can't prove it, but I feel like Brother Brian would be one of the gay ones because he was such a
I feel
gossip
that.
monger. He would sit and watch just so he could get dirt on people.
100%.
He'd be like, I saw you got up and got water 2 times last night. What were you doing?
Yeah, he would know everything. It's like, dude, you were in your bed asleep. How do you know I had to go up to the bathroom? Because no one went to the bathroom right by the room. We all went upstairs. Like,
That's a little
come
weird
on now.
that he knew that.
He'd know everything. God, dude, it was something else. Because I'd always crack up my window open because it'd be freaking hot as hell in that freaking dorm. Or stink. It just always
they would
stunk
yell
in
at
there.
us. Because we had to wear, didn't matter the season, pajama bottoms, pajama tops,
Long
not
sleeves,
just like
baby.
a t-shirt and like your Cubs PJs, where they had to be like matching, like striped pajama bottoms, like you're an illustration from the night before Christmas, like pinstripe button.
Oh my god!
Pajamas, and it was like and with a t-shirt underneath, no less.
Yes.
Why? For no reason.
So you don't get them dirty.
It's not like they didn't make us do laundry 2 times a week, but they would like catch you if you had it like unbuttoned, so it was open when it was hot, or you didn't have your t-shirt underneath. They'd catch you and be like, "You have to go like put on your pajama uniform."
Yeah, it was the worst. Those heavy ass blue comforters that we had.
Mm-hmm. Or the paper thin can ones that might as well not have been there.
I think in New Hampshire was a little better with like AC and heat, so I didn't really suffer from. James? Do you remember any suffering from like?
No, the dorm was relatively comfortable.
Right.
Not us.
Yeah. On your Tempur-Pedics. No, I'm kidding.
Kevin, your first year, which would be our second year, when we were still in the freaking conference room at that time, worst thing ever.
Awful. I was in that for a year.
There was no insulation in the windows. So in the summer, they put window units in, but it would still just be.
Didn't do anything. It just made it so that there was a puddle on the floor.
Yeah.
blowing hot air. Yeah.
Well, no. It would be cold, but there's so much hot air being blown into that the humidity in the room would create puddles.
That's fucking nasty.
It was when we were right by a lake. It was so humid there.
It was sticky. Everything was always sticky.
Everything smelled like mildew all the time.
Yeah, our bathroom always smelled mildewy. We would squeegee it. We would squeegee it after everybody was done in the morning.
R.I.P. to our bathroom. That thing.
They made it
Alex. Are you joking me?
People ripping ass in there after breakfast. Horrendous.
Constant rotation of boys showering twice a day.
It was inhuman. Yeah,
but like
so gross.
when you'd squeegee the floor, you'd get all that like gray.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Sludge.
Where does that come from?
That's called Spencer. That's called fermented cheese.
Yeah, that's fermented.
Smegma.
Yeah, it's a smegma pie.
So nasty, dude.
It was so nasty.
There's people shitting in the bathroom, like,
and then
that was.
You'd hang your bathing suit.
You don't have time to go into the toilet stall. You only have 20 minutes.
You got 30 minutes. Be quick.
Did your bathing suits get moldy too?
Yeah, they get gross.
I don't think so. They would be wet all the time because they never dried.
Yes.
Because you'd wear them in the fucking shower.
Yeah. Like showering in full board shorts that go down to my knee. Like I truly went 4 years without having like a really proper shower unless I was at home.
Yeah. I felt like I know this is TMI, but I never like washed my junk well because time when you can scrub, you're supposed to get in and rinse and then you jump out and scrub down. So what are you supposed to do when you're scrubbing down? Like reach into your pants and just like, no.
That's naughty.
So yeah,
there's always like a superior actively watching you shower.
Yes.
So like I don't want to have
Father
my hands
Justin
down
just
my
sitting
shorts.
there like, hey.
While they're like watching me, and also again, you don't have time. Like we were always in such a rush. Like everybody, some people were okay at doing it quickly and they could do it well, but some people just needed more time and they smelled like shit all the time because they didn't have enough time to shower properly and like put on their deodorant. But if they didn't get to chapel on time, they'd be punished. So they would be, I'd rather have BO and stink than, points on the competition that we're in.
Sweating at a
The freaking competitions. Oh, you get 100 points if you're the first one to chapel.
Always a competition.
Like, well, that doesn't bode anyone well because they just
Right.
fucking stink for the next
We
month
didn't get
of
points for that,
competition.
did we? I don't think we got points for that. We just got better piety grades.
You get to
No,
go
they
roll
would
the,
give you
you
points
get to
for-
roll the dice.
Everything and everything. If they could turn it into a competition at SHAS,
That's
they
true.
did.
That's true.
We had that at
We had
ICOS.
points too. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we had perseverance teams and
I for-
points and stuff.
Okay,
It was bullshit.
perseverance teams. I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
About that.
Was I ever a team captain? Absolutely not.
Oh, Kevin, we've been meaning to ask because we keep forgetting. Do you remember any details from the encounter with Christ aside from like reading the gospel?
Encounter with Christ.
It's a mystery. Like, what the fuck else did we do? It was an hour long.
There'd be like a talk from a priest or a brother, basically about whatever they wanted. And they would try to relate it to a passage. It was basically like another morning meditation, I always felt like.
Okay.
It was just another meditative, literature-based like
Directive.
storytelling session with a
Yeah.
brother.
I think Randall Christie did those too, come to think of it.
I don't know if there was more involved, like specific prayers or anything, but from what I recall, it was just somebody talking at me again.
Yes. Yeah, more of the same. Did you get
Sit
team
here with your
balanced
feet
pretty hard?
crossed.
What's that?
Did you get team balanced pretty hard?
Team balanced. What do you mean?
Where they would go around the room being like, here's what you did wrong. Like,
Oh.
yeah.
Like piety grades?
peer reviews. Did you
No.
not have team balance?
I don't think we ever graded each other or did anything like that.
Oh,
We didn't have big enough class to do that, Spencer.
we had team balance where literally
We'd call
you would
each
be
other
like,
out whenever we wanted.
well, we would sit in a circle awkwardly and then just start telling each other what we did wrong. And you'd have to refer to like the principles and norms or etiquette book and be like, hey, you broke silence, which is against this rule. Yeah, dude, it was
No.
weird. It was
Yeah.
fucking
Dude,
weird.
Kevin,
We never
could you
did that.
imagine
We
if
would
we
never
had to
have
do
done that. We first of all, we were not the crew to snitch on each other or to try to get each other in
No.
trouble.
Stitches, get stitches.
We had solidarity. So they couldn't have done it if they tried.
Yeah.
Couple of others-
We were
It
all
would have just
trying to
been
be
a
like,
silent 30 minutes.
Yeah, y'all been doing great, man. I appreciate all of y'all keeping your silence.
They
And
would
we're
get-
all breaking silence anyway, but
yeah.
you know,
They would get pretty
everyone-
savage with us at piety
everyone-
grades, though. I don't know
Oh,
how hard they were
wow.
on you guys, but they
was
did
rough.
not hold back at directives on
dude,
Sundays.
Father Eduardo's piety grades.
Oh man, you could hear him yelling at the pre-candidates
Holy hell.
every week from like all the way across the building.
That's amazing.
He did not like you guys. He didn't like anybody. He was
hated
such an
us.
ass.
He hated us because we were all so close to each other. Honestly,
Yeah, that universal charity thing was not working.
No.
like, but there was no structure.
Yeah.
All right. So it's like we'd go from, hey, we're just going to go work all day, hanging out, to don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
But tomorrow we're all going to go work again. So
Hmm.
it's like we're all going to talk no matter what.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, yeah, our party grades were really just us getting yelled at.
Yeah.
For how we suck and we're not conforming to the rules.
I love how y'all didn't conform though. That's so cool. Like, I guess was not like that.
Yeah, no, it was
We
very
conformed
much.
hard.
It was very
Well,
conformy
I
Yeah.
think
and
we had the
snitchy.
advantage of being the people who started the school. And so they
Oh,
were
okay.
always telling us
Yeah.
like, we don't have traditions, like it's up to you guys to like start your own traditions. So I think they tried to encourage like the bonding between peers and things like
Dude,
that.
LC
Yeah.
Scoops.
LC Scoops was amazing. I wonder if they still do that. They probably
that'd be
do.
They probably do. They have
What is that? I
It's
never
our
heard
ice
of
cream shop we do in the summer program.
Oh.
We'd set it. You can come in.
That's
and
pretty
buy
cool.
frickin'
It was awesome.
Whatever ice cream, whatever ass.
You'd have to
toppings you
purchase it
want.
with money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They-
it'd
Is it
come
like
out
a
of your-
fundraiser for like? How did you guys pay for it? What
We
money?
always had like a little accounts that our parents would keep with like $30
Yeah,
in it.
like
or
we
whatever.
had. Yeah, your parents
we
would
also
like
had,
send you
like-
like 50
like a
bucks.
dollar.
and
Well, they
then
would
you-
send me tuck and stuff, but I don't remember.
Well,
like an
you had
account.
that,
That
but like
too.
we also had
like when you went
vending machines.
skiing.
True.
Your
Yeah, I
parents
don't
put
remember
money
this.
in.
Like
How's
a
that
little
paid?
bit.
They're gonna
Uh,
send you 50 bucks to your
Yeah.
account.
Like we weren't
So
allowed
if
to
you
have the
need-
cash, but they would like
Right.
write down what we spent and then they would
if you
take
need
out.
Oh,
shoe
okay,
polish,
okay.
or you
Oh, yeah.
needed shampoo.
We had that little store.
Yeah.
All that
Yeah.
stuff was community for us, so I don't know if we paid. Like, I
No,
think I
we
got
did.
fresh Bostonians one time, and I don't remember paying. For them.
Damn.
I think your parents paid. Your
Yes.
Spencer, your parents paid for them.
That's hilarious. Sorry, mom and dad.
You're like,
100%. Your parents paid
Yeah.
for them.
I got like
These
$90
nice
shoes as like a 14-year-old.
Akrons.
That was the shoe. If you had those, you were high class.
Yeah, yes,
Was either that or
yes.
the Johnson
Florsheim.
Murphys.
The what?
Florsheim's, yeah.
I had, what did I have? I had Nunbush. They were the cheapest ones that still had the wooden heel. So I got away with
cool.
it.
Nice.
Because you
Oh,
had to
cool.
have
You
your
had to
feast
click.
day pair,
Oh yeah, I
Your-
did.
Yep.
and then
And then
your
my other ones were
everyday
all
pair.
sketchy.
Yeah, whatever was black and you could polish.
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
Oh
So
Lord.
is there anything you wanna shout out before we close out here?
No, I don't think so. Shout out to who from there? I don't know.
Brother Byron, you're the real MVP.
Shout out to Brother Brian honestly, really shout out to Brother Brian for surviving all of that I put him through. I was a difficult teen, and he was like a fully 23-year-old legionary who
our
had to
shit.
deal with like all of this. It was. Now, in retrospect, I really feel bad for him. He did not deserve it.
I feel bad for Brother Brian.
Shout out to Brother Brian.
Yeah, huge shout out.
And also, this has been Cucks for Credit.